Welcome to the True Blue Riffcast. I'm your host, Jeremy, and I am joined, as always, by...
Hi, I'm Dave. I'm joined by Jeremy. I'm also known on the internet as Sugar Ray Dodge, also as IMD. That's the other thing I'm known by is the initials, IMD.
IMD.
Yes, IMD. Oh, do you want to know what that means?
Yes, please.
My IMD means Iron Man dies. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Geez. I'm sorry. Did I blow something? Did I mess up?
No, you're perfectly fine because, the spoiler ban has been lifted weeks ago on that movie. So.
Oh, okay, good.
I mean, if you haven't seen it by now, you don't care.
Yeah.
Now, Dave, before we get started today, I have to know, is there any box cutters?
You know what?
Or any clicky pens or anything within arm's reach of you?
Okay, if you listen to True Blue Riffcast number 1 last week, I happen to have, because if there's anything near me, I will play with it. It's like when I was in the Army, I couldn't wear my dog tags around my neck. I had to have them in my pocket. Because if I had them, I would take them off and twirl them. Because of something, it's why I can't wear glasses. It's why I can't wear a watch or anything like that. I'm going to have it and play with it, and I won't even know it. And last week, I had this box cutter. It's actually way over there. It's out of my reach now.
Good.
And I just had that in my hand, and I didn't even know. And I guess it was Jeremy didn't bother telling me at the time, hey, what's that clicking noise? Like, oh, let me put this box cutter away. He just let me do it for the whole damn time.
I didn't even realize it while we were talking.
Yeah. But I was playing with this box cutter. It's like, oh, no, don't do that. And I was like, okay, fine.
I think literally as soon as I stopped recording last week, I realized that you were playing with something and I asked you about it. And it definitely came through, as anybody who listened to the first episode would notice. I was able to edit some of it out, thankfully.
I think it's going to be fine. I think the world's not going to end. But
no.
Yeah.
I will just have to remind you at the beginning or before we start recording every episode to not have anything in your hands or close to you.
I'm about to find something super annoying to annoy you with then after this. It's going to be like a running gag until we either forget about it or I get tired of it. So.
Yeah.
Anyway, so, hey, RiffTrax.
Yeah.
Isn't that a great thing we both like?
It sure is. You know what else is great?
What's that?
Let's look at some headlines.
Headlines.
Hey, Dave, are you familiar with the movie Scrooged?
I am. I'm not a terribly big fan of. I like Ghostbusters and Groundhog Day, like anybody. I'm not a big fan of. I'm aware of the movie Scrooged. I've seen it. Not a fan.
Well, for some strange reason, Kevin Hart and Paramount have decided that it needs to be rebooted.
Why? Oh, money. Okay.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. It's always money. But I can't think, honestly, of a worse person to take over for this than Kevin Hart.
Yeah, it's like, now you say reboot, remake. It's like he just wants to do.
But with Kevin Hart.
That makes little sense. Is The Rock going to be there at least?
I would not be surprised if he showed up at some point.
That would at least make it, at least you have The Rock.
I don't get it. I don't understand why. Other than money, it's money. It's always money. Speaking of money, and Kevin Hart, Secret Life of Pets 2, #1 movie over this past weekend at the box office.
Are you kidding? I thought no way.
Followed by Dark Phoenix at #2, and Aladdin 3rd, and Godzilla dropping down to 4th. But let's talk about the #2 movie over the weekend here just a little bit.
Beat this.
Dark Phoenix, $33 million weekend total, and it is the worst opening of any X-Men movie to date.
And that's it's just and this is the last.
It's the last one of the current iteration, yes.
Mm-hmm, yeah, it's going to be it brings, I suppose you could tie it to the RiffTrax classic, and this is, of course, why we can talk about it on the podcast.
Yes.
The classic X-Men movie from the year 2000, which has a lot of, the early 2000, the year 2000 sensibilities in it in regards to morality.
It's a very subtle theme.
Yeah, it's very. It took a sledgehammer and to be like, oh, let's talk about acceptance, bah! Yes. And just like smack you over the head with it. Be like, I'm not saying it was a bad thing. Not saying that at all. But I'm just saying that it just beats you to death with it, and it's something that's you can be very critical about the movie for.
Yes.
But beyond that, it's a movie that, like, when I saw Days of Futures Past and X-Men Apocalypse, which I actually like a lot. I mean, I know a lot of people didn't like it. I enjoyed it quite a bit.
I still haven't seen either of those, so.
But like I heard that X-Men music, like the movie theme, and I got all excited, like, oh my gosh, I'm an X-Men movie fan. This is fantastic, right? This is great. I'd be like, just got like my ooh, I forgot about this. This is awesome. I love this. And then everyone's like, we got to do Dark Phoenix Saga. We got to do it right because, to use a 2017 to 2019 term, X-Men 3 was just a dumpster fire. The overused phrase that's going to date us to this specific year.
Yes.
Dumpster fire.
And of course, X-Men 3, The Last Stand, one of the highest opening weekends of all time for an X-Men movie.
Yeah, and it was just terrible,
X-Men.
awful. But the thing is about Dark Phoenix is that, okay, look, I haven't seen it. And from what I've read about it is like, I'm just going to come out and say this. I just think it's fanboys being like, this is not what I wanted, and I'm not going to like it and throw a fit. There's been a lot of that happening. I can't imagine it being worse than X3. Hate to say it, but I mean, like, it seems like it's going to be pretty good. I'm probably going to see it one time, but also old Sansa Stark can't seem to catch a break in the last few weeks.
Yeah, she's getting rough, man.
This movie lost, from Deadline. Dark Phoenix is bound to lose $100 million. That is a lot of money to lose, like especially in an era when superhero movies are supposed to clean up. I haven't seen the movie. I can't imagine it's that terrible.
I don't know. The reviews that I'm seeing, the actual reviews, are saying that Dark Phoenix makes X3 look like a good movie.
Oh, bullshit. You're going to have to get your editing thing out for that. I'm sure they're saying that. Like, that's just BS to me. I cannot accept that. I cannot accept that, Jeremy. I'm sure you're telling the truth.
Yeah, like I said, I haven't seen it. I haven't seen the last couple. Eventually, I'm sure I'll sit down and watch them. I just have better ways to waste my time.
Yeah, but anyway,
like with RiffTrax.
Well, that's not a waste of time at all. So I guess we should talk about RiffTrax eventually on our RiffTrax podcast.
Yeah, well, how about we do that right now with a short review of RiffTrax shorts?
Hold on, wait a minute. Before you do it, I want to do I want to add my thing to the shorts. Shorts, right? Okay, and now go ahead and play.
Yes! Today on Short Reviews of RiffTrax Shorts, we're going to be taking a look at Beginning Responsibility Lunchroom Manners. Mr. Bungle. He's filthy. He's rude. He's messy. He's killed 12 men. Okay, maybe that last part isn't actually true. We don't really know. We just know that no one likes him, and no one wants to be like him, especially not Phil. Phil's the kid who likes to make sure his hands are nice and clean every time he uses a bathroom by using half of the soap in the dispenser. His buzz cut, he has to make sure it's all in place before he eats the gigantic piece of cake that is literally as big as his head.
Wow.
I wish I was exaggerating this, Dave.
I know you're not.
It's so big. Like, I can't even imagine. And that they would do that in a school. And I know that's what they used to do. But I digress. There's so much that I like in this short. The overabundance of soap. the sad little puppet, the gigantic cake, and of course, the repetitive, angry, and pained cries of Bungle, Mr. Bungle, Bungle. And of course, this is a cornet short. So anyone familiar at all with RiffTrax shorts knows the name cornet. And they know the quality that name brings with it.
Is it good?
The short is outstanding. It is actually one of my essential shorts. Meaning, if you don't have it or you haven't seen it, go right now and spend the $1.
The $1.
The $1. Send it off to RiffTrax, and in return, get this enjoyable little snippet of laughter. Thank you.
Yeah, so that's one of your faves.
Oh, I love it. It's so good. The whole Mr. Bungle thing kills me every time.
I don't think that's been on RiffTrax Live. I don't think.
No, this one has only been released through the website.
So it's not like Measuring Man or
no,
or Norman or someone or something that like people would be extremely familiar with.
No, this is actually one of the older ones. It was released February 21st of 2008.
Well, that's season 3. I go by like whatever the calendar year was. Like I called whatever was released in 2006, season 1, season 2 is 2007, all that stuff. So 2008, it's season 3, and that's just when things were like, I feel 2008, especially towards the end when we started getting Star Wars and or A New Hope anyway, Harry Potter 3. And also that year for shorts, I think we also had what's it called with the monkeys?
One Got Fat.
Monkeys. Yeah, One Got Fat. Yeah, I can't believe that just brain fart. But yeah, the stuff that came before was excellent. But I feel things got like excellent, like gold platinum level. That's when things started getting very, very like when they came into like their own, and they'd been doing it for a while already. And it's like, hey, look, we can riff the hell out of some shorts and some big blockbuster MP3 commentaries, and we're distinct from MST3K now, and this is an awesome thing. So that's it. It makes sense that would be a short that came out in that era.
It was actually the third short they ever released.
Really?
So going way back to the beginning of their shorts catalog.
What was the first short ever released?
The
first legit short, not like Nestor the Long-Eared Donkey, which is fine, but it's not like in the tradition of like, these kinds of shorts that we're talking about.
The first short they released was A Visit to Santa.
Really?
In December of 2007, yes.
Santa, that's not the one that that's not I Need You Tonight.
No, that is Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer.
Yeah.
No, A Visit to Santa is where they see Santa in their split level house, and they sit on his lap, and he takes them in their helicopter up to.
Oh, okay, yeah. All right, okay, I know which one you're talking about. I read a RiffTrax wiki, everybody. I'm totally aware of all these things.
Yes, let's go from the short to the not short, and let's talk about some VODs.
VODs, yes. So we did have a new release on Friday, which is kind of, I mean, it's not super unusual. It's happened before. In 2015, on the same day, they released Stone Cold. And then the following year, they released, in August, they released, one we talked about last week, Ruby, the day after Mothra.
Man, that's a 1-2 punch, isn't it? Whew.
Yeah, like Mothra, bam, then Ruby. Oh, jeez. Wow, they couldn't be more different. And but they haven't done it the last couple of years, and they did it this year. Obviously, we had, which we're going to talk about later, we had Star Raiders on Thursday, and so we both thought it's like, okay, well, we're probably just going to get like a deal or something. There's like, no, but we have one called The Power, not to be confused with one of your favorites, Jeremy, The Dark Power.
Yes, The Dark Power, or the song I've Got the Power by Snake.
I've got the power.
Thank you.
That song?
Yeah.
Or I Have the Power from He-Man.
Or The Power Is Yours from Captain Planet.
Oh man, but
We should probably stop this while we're
this bit
that's enough of that.
But this movie, you know how I talk about movie selection? Sometimes movie selection is just like, mwah, right? That's the thing where I do with my fingers, like kiss my fingers and do the whole mwah, right? Yeah, and then sometimes it's just, what did they do to us, right?
Like with Giants from the Unknown.
Actually, this is a little bit better. Not by much, though. I mean, but The Power it's very 80s. It was shot for like $5. And it was just like, it's this time in the 80s that's like right before like the very charming time in the 80s when you had like, you know, all the Miami Vice, like the neon colors, the pink and the purple and the blue, like the 80s that everybody loves and associates with, right? So this is right before that. And this cast it goes from, now this is the Wikipedia entry for the thing, an Aztec demon called Distactyl, or like what? I can't even remember how they said it in the movie. And I watched the movie like 2 days ago. Okay.
It's that's like, a cattle?
Yeah, something like that. It's like some serious Final Fantasy BS. It's like a Bahamut or something that you summon in Final Fantasy VIII and it shoots lightning out of its eyes. Who is believed to be able to control human souls, is trapped in a small Aztec doll. And it's like this little tiny wood carving. Like the production is just awful. However, a young man named Jerry is soon possessed and is taken over by the demon after getting his hands on an idol, and soon causes mayhem to anyone he comes across, including a group of high school students. Now, I could not for the life of me tell you which one of these people Jerry is. There are so many characters in this movie. Like, there's a group of high school kids with a Ouija board. There's a group of very unattractive reporters, and they all wear these John Stockton shorts. In a time like when, like it's right before the charming 80s. It's like that.
Wow.
Yeah, it's pretty bad and terrible to look at. It was shot for like $5. It's really it's uglier than Cyber Tracker.
Ooh.
It's uglier than Supersonic Man. I mean, take House on Sorority Row. Okay,
oh boy.
one of our favorites, and take out everything charming about House and Sorority Row. Okay, you have The Power.
So there's no upstairs waterbeds.
There's no upstairs waterbeds. There's no disgusting pool with garbage in it that they didn't clean. Oh man, House on Sorority Row flashbacks. Anyway. This is I can't believe this is a situation that we're in where I'm pining for the quiet dignity of House on Sorority Row.
The fat guy in his underwear jumping in that gross pool.
Yeah. And to a lesser extent Haunted Ween.
Oh man.
Oh, Haunted Ween. That's Google it, everybody. But that's movie's not great. I mean, it's a fun time. Go buy it and listen to the riff. You'll have a fun time. Keep in mind, you also are going to have to watch The Power.
At least you get to watch it with the riffs.
Exactly.
Unlike Connor and Sean and Mike and Jason, everybody else who has to sit there and watch it multiple times.
I'm probably not going to revisit this one a whole lot. Not like, stuff like, say, it's not like The Room or Birdemic or Roller Gator or anything like that. But it is a solid entry in the 2019 catalog so far. Last year, we had this, we saw this in 2016. We saw this last year as well, where it starts off, we have some strong titles at the very beginning, and then, we have kind of, like, I don't want to say weaker, but just like, some of the more, this is more of a low key entry. This is kind of like Kill and Kill Again, right? It's cool. It gets us to the next, whatever the next big thing is going to be. Like later this year's A Talking Cat is going to come along, right?
Yeah. We're going to have something of that level.
Yeah. And then it's going to, And then we're gonna get craziness like Spiker and Ice Cream Man and stuff like that. But the Power is just kind of like a step along the way, honestly. So it's good for. I'm probably gonna watch it a couple more times. Probably not gonna revisit it a whole lot after that, though. I mean, I'm just being honest.
Yeah, nothing wrong with that.
But it's a B. I would give it a B.
All right, and we also have another VOD to talk about, but this one is not your standard RiffTrax release.
Nope.
This one is a RiffTrax Presents release from Matthew J. Elliot and Ian Potter from 2016, Flight to Mars.
Dude, when this came out, I was so happy to see it because it's probably one of the best. I mean, I'm not even. This is not hyperbole. It's probably one of the best things RiffTrax overall has done. It's probably the best RiffTrax Presents thing. I mean, not just what Matthew and Ian have done, but from the whole RiffTrax Presents phenomenon, that umbrella. It's like, oh my gosh, dude, it's so funny. The riffs are just like, I mean, I think you kind of have to understand what it took for RiffTrax Presents to get to something like Flight to Mars.
Yeah.
Especially the journey of Matthew J. Elliott and Ian Potter. Ian, like them as a team, but also in particular Matthew J. Elliott as well, because he's been doing this for a very long time.
Right, and he started out doing them by himself.
Right. He started off doing solo riffs. The story goes is that he and a group of, I don't want to get the story wrong, a group of people that he knows as friends, they were going to do it together. And then they all, long story short, they all bailed on him. And he ended up doing it himself. And he did that by himself. And he actually did quite a few what you would think would be essential RiffTrax titles.
Yeah.
He ended up doing, like Planet of the Apes, which I think is just like, because Planet of the Apes is not just huge for RiffTrax. It's like, it was a huge influence on the precursor to RiffTrax that some people might know as Mystery Science Theater 3000.
Yes.
And it's just like, and Planet of the Apes references and lore and all that is prevalent not only in that precursor that we call MS-33K, but also into the film crew and into the whole of MS-33K, of RiffTrax as we know it. And he did that. And he also, he did Armageddon. He did a whole bunch of, and they're all really good.
Die Hard.
Yep. And the thing is that, and then you had the big, one of the biggest turning points in the history of RiffTrax as a company in creative direction was after the Wrath of Khan, which kind of ended the MP3 only era, as I call it, even though there were some VODs back there. But in 2011, you had three ones that kind of closed out that era. That was Highlander, Karate Kid 3, and Wrath of Khan. Then they go away for about a month. They come back and they have Crater Lake Monster and The Devil's Hand. And after that, it's a mix of VODs and MP3s.
Yep.
Now, during that time, Matthew was kind of quiet for a little bit. He did one VOD by himself. And at this point, he's still doing them by himself. And he did do one VOD towards the end, Horror Express. And it was, I believe it was his only, and it was towards the end of 2012. It was around Guy from Harlem around that time. And it was okay. It was pretty good. But then he takes about a year off. And everyone thinks, I think Jana and Cole might have done something in 2013. But anyway, RiffTrax Presents as kind of like a brand, kind of like is dormant for about a year.
Yeah.
And then Matthew comes back with a riffing partner, Ian Potter, in a riff of the movie, I believe it's public domain, King of Kong Island. And that just changes everything. I mean, it was a cool thing before, but now it's just like I kind of feel. And then, like, you could see that there were King of Kong Island is excellent. It is an excellent, sturdy riff. You can see, like, okay, they're laying the foundation here for something outstanding, right? And then later on that year, you have Scared to Death, which is different from another RiffTrax Presents of the same name. released this year. I saw that. I was like, what? But it's a different movie, and it's a different release.
movie. Yep.
Yeah, and it's don't even worry about it. You can watch both and almost not be confused.
Almost.
But yeah, so you had those two, but then in 2015, Matthew and Ian just like really just hit their stride with Warning from Space in 2015, because it was just like, it's the perfect RiffTrax movie.
Yeah. Giant one-eyed starfish aliens.
Mm-hmm.
Come on.
And but the Japan aesthetic with their sensibilities, to me at that time, that was the greatest thing RiffTrax Presents had ever done. And I didn't know if they'd be able to beat it, honestly. And then Flight to Mars came out the following year, and it just blew. Dude, the number of times when I really wasn't even, because I kind of knew what was going on because I had watched it a few times in 2016.
Yeah.
I busted up, like I kind of wasn't even half paying attention to it. And there were some jokes in there. It's like, especially, it's like every joke is like, you know how we were talking about Star Wars Rogue One, that riff, just like every line being just an A+ vicious winner. Yeah. That's what this is. Flight to Mars, guys, it's like the perfect RiffTrax thing. If you haven't seen it, you have to. It's just like, and I don't even care if you're one of these guys that's being like, oh, well, it's just these British guys from a different country. I don't want to give them a chance. Go ahead. Look, if you're gonna do that, look, if you want to be a douchebag and think that way, that's totally fine. Okay, go ahead and do that. But you have to.
Not, but
no. Look, this is. I'm telling you, it's got to be. I don't even know. Like, I only paid $8 for it at the time. I don't know how much it is now.
It's $7.99.
Okay, yeah. Go get, like, this is, you're depriving yourself of like riffing perfected. Like, this is a perfect riff. You got to get this. Listen to it. It is the perfect riff, and it's just like, it's the end result of these two men, and especially this very long journey for Matthew J. Elliot, who Ian Potter just brought the best out in him. And I don't think you can say enough about Ian Potter for that, but I think just the journey that Matthew has been on for over a decade, I think culminated in this, and he deserves to be just like a legit part of the RiffTrax lore and its legacy and everything. And dude, Matthew, we love you here, man. And
oh yeah,
you are it. Like, this is the Matthew J. Elliot Appreciation Podcast right now. This is, guys, get Flight to Mars, and you know exactly what I'm talking about. I don't know if I can do it any more justice than that. We could talk about what happens in the movie, but it's just,
I'm gonna say this, since we're just showing our appreciation for Matthew and Ian right now. They had a part in the Batman versus Superman mega riff, and quite frankly, it was one of my favorite segments out of the whole thing.
Yeah,
like their section that they did for that movie, I laughed so hard and so loud during that my wife yelled at me from the other room. I was surprised. They you would think that there were a lot of points in their section during that riff that you would think that they would give to Mike, Kevin, and Bill. I didn't know it was going to be just like, segments. I thought it was just going to be like everybody gets jokes and it was just going to be everybody interested. Like, no, it was just the teams get this segment and then this segment and then this segment. It wasn't 13 riffers riffing at the same time, like at the MST3K reunion show or at some of these Night of the Short things that they do. Which for a movie of this length would have been too much.
Yeah. But you get it. It's cool. It's just like you get kind of like 5 different kind of like riffs, and it's pretty good. I mean, like it's a mega riff. It's on the Riff Wiki RiffTrax starter kit in part 5, and furthermore, we're gonna do a part 6 here soon-ish. And we talk about Matthew, but we also got to give props to Ian Potter, man. That guy is like, he is so funny, and I don't want to say for what, but Ian Potter personally gave me a joke off the top of his head that I used. and it's funnier than anything I could have used in his place. And I got angry because he wrote a joke for something of mine that was funnier than anything that I could have come up with. And he just came up with it. And I told this to Matthew, and he's like, "Welcome to my world." And I was like, it's like, so I guess it's like that.
Yeah, I guess so.
So anyway, yeah, I can't put over Flight to Mars any more than I already have. So everybody go get it.
Yeah,
watch it. It's awesome.
If you guys don't want to listen to it just because it's not Mike, Kevin, and Bill, come on.
Yeah,
Come
this
on.
is something I think needs to be talked about because that does exist out there. That does bother me. That people don't give the RiffTrax Presents teams a chance.
So now let's move on to our other. Oh geez, my brain just stopped again. I gotta stop doing that, man. Let's move on to our next. Never mind. Last week we had RiffTrax Live Star Raiders. You saw that, Dave, right? Right, Dave? You saw that? You saw that one, right, Dave? You got to go see that? You got to go see the RiffTrax Live Star Raiders, Dave?
Oh, I see what you're doing. Yeah, you're giving it back to me because I did that to you for Octoman. What had happened was, this is for the first time ever I actually didn't go see a RiffTrax Live for like on the advertised night, because it initially was I was going to go down and train to be in the Rocky Mountain Rumble, but then I ended up not going anywhere because there was this insane thunderstorm where I live out here in the middle of nowhere, and I couldn't go anywhere. So it's like it doesn't matter now. So, but I am going to have to be Team Tuesday. But when you're listening to this, probably if you're an early bird, that's probably when I'm going to be in the theater watching Star Raiders.
Yes. On the other hand, I, against all odds, actually got to see this one.
Amazingly.
It was a 3-hour-long round trip for me.
I don't feel bad for you.
I got to see it before you did, so.
Oh, okay.
For once, like the one time only ever that I actually saw something RiffTrax before you did.
Guess what? Lots of people saw it before we did too, so.
Yes, because this one, as we touched on a little bit last week, wasn't technically live. They filmed it the night before they did the Octoman live show broadcast.
Which I want to state out there, everybody, which is fine. Okay.
And I saw people talking about this.
People getting mad about this is just ridiculous.
Because they didn't know that it started at 7:30 instead of 8 o'clock. Well, it's called check your tickets, guys. You bought the tickets for the movie, whether you bought them at the box office or you bought them online. It's going to tell you what time the show starts, just like every other movie.
In their defense, just to like devil's advocate, I'm not saying I agree with this or anything like that. I think they were anticipating that it would be starting at the same time that it usually does, which is like right up there on the hour.
Yes.
And this event did start at the bottom of the hour. However, that's really not an excuse to not check your local listings.
Well, and yeah, any time that they've shown something RiffTrax that has not been a live broadcast, they've started it at 7:30 instead of 8 o'clock.
Mm-hmm.
I'll walk that back a little bit because, yes, it could be confusing, I guess, for some people. But you should still be there a half hour early anyway so you don't miss
see the slides. Yeah,
right?
What's wrong with you?
Great. There was one from Star Raiders that I laughed so hard I actually had people turn around to look at me. And that does happen a few times with these. Usually there's a few that not everybody will get, but sometimes they hit home with me, and I cackle like a madman, and I get the weirdest looks. And usually it's something that Connor wrote.
Some Dark Tower reference.
Well, this one, I don't know who wrote it, but I loved it. If you buried the Addams family in the graveyard from Pet Sematary, they'd come back as the Munsters.
Okay, yeah, that's either Connor or Sean.
I love that slide.
That is Connor or Sean.
That is one of my all-time favorite slides, right there with the picture of shirtless Vin Diesel and saying that they cast him as Caillou underneath it of the Octoman live show. That one's great.
Anything referencing Garfield or anything Garfield like related, that is Connor. That is Connor. I can tell you that right now. Anything Garfield related is Connor.
Yes. But let's talk a little bit about Star Raiders itself. This movie,
I tried to watch it raw, couldn't do it.
Well, we looked up. Somebody sent me a link to the Kickstarter.
Oh, you sent me that.
And according to the Kickstarter made $22,000.
That's it.
And I was going to say in my head that seems like a high number for the budget for this film after watching the film. But then I found out that the Kickstarter was only to finish the movie.
Yeah, it's post.
It was just for post. They had already filmed everything, and this was back in 2015. The movie came out in 2017. Mm-hmm. So, but
it's basically like a fan movie that's not a fan movie. That's you have a bunch of people running around in the forest like idiots because they can't build sets.
It's like Space Mutiny, but they couldn't even afford the staircases and the railings.
Yeah.
This movie, it feels like the pilot episode to one of those old Saturday afternoon straight to syndication TV shows that they used to show in the mid-90s, like Cleopatra 2525 or Viper or Knight Rider 2010. You know, that type of stuff. That's what this
PBS knockoff stations are you watching?
No. These were on NBC and ABC. All this stuff would aired at like noon on Saturdays. The Action Pack TV block.
Oh.
It was all just straight to syndication stuff.
No, I was already playing Mario 3 by noon on Saturday, so
And we mentioned last week Cynthia Rothrock is in this movie.
Oh yeah, Mrs. Santa.
She was for about 2 minutes at the very end. It was all sequel setup, but it's not some let's credit Tippi Hedren because the Birds is on screen for an instant in my movie situation. But it's really just a glorified cameo, and she got like really high billing for it.
I was about to say, look, you can't. Okay, look, that's like booking Tommy Wiseau. No, I'm kidding. What?
Yeah,
she's confusing.
She's literally in the movie for setup for the sequel that
is never going to happen.
That they threatened us with, because that wasn't like hopes of a sequel. That was a threat that they were going to make a sequel to this movie.
Like the Super Mario sequel.
Yeah, that was a threat too, but that one was worse because that was a threat to my childhood. But there's some great riffs in this movie. There's one that most people in our showing missed because they were laughing at the situation in the movie itself, which was Casper Van Dien being a creep.
What?
Yeah, you'll understand when you see it. But his name is Saber Rain, and the joke there is that he is the son of Purple and November. And God. I really liked that line. So whoever wrote Son of Purple and November, thank you from me. But yeah, it's a great riff. Terrible movie. And it's not even that the acting is the worst, because we've obviously seen worse acting, worse special effects in movies than what they had in here for the ships and everything like that. But it's a good riff, solid live show. I had more fun watching this one than I did Octoman, but that's simply because Octoman is such a plotting movie.
Mm-hmm.
In this movie, some things actually kind of happen, I think.
Well, does the movie also have personality, though? I mean, that's also very important.
Yes, it does. Okay. You could tell that some of the people in this movie were actually trying.
That makes up for a lot, honestly. Like in a lot of RiffTrax. Like if the movie has a lot of personality, like the Power doesn't have any personality at all. Something like a talking cat or Spiker or Ice Cream Man. If something like that, people are going to go back and remember it and rewatch it and stuff like that. So, but Octoman doesn't really have that. They just have the big rubber suit and it's like, what is that?
This one you could tell that it was definitely a passion project that just didn't turn out. I mean, it's kind of in that sense, it's kind of similar to Miami Connection, which was a real passion project for them to make. Like they really wanted to do this movie, and you could tell that they wanted that with this too. So I don't fault them for that. It's just everything else about the movie that I fault them for.
You fault them for sucking. I mean, you could definitely do that.
And the other thing that this live show brought us was yet another song for this year.
From the Rifftones.
With Octoman, we got the Ballad of Octoman, which was in the style of, what was it, Big John or Big Joe or whatever, the old country.
Something crazy, yeah.
I don't remember the name of the song, but I was familiar enough with it to recognize what they were.
Stylistically. A quick aside about the Rifftones. It's like, that's some of the best music, honestly, I have in my entire library, honestly, in my opinion. A lot of it has to do with Kevin Murphy.
Yes.
I made my brother, because I make him watch RiffTrax stuff a lot, and I made him watch A Talking Cat, and he still hasn't. It's so funny. But I'll send him a text message. He'd be like, oh no. He's like, what's going on? It's like, the cat just talked to me. And he writes back, it's like, F off. He's really mad. He's really mad that I make him watch A Talking Cat. And he's like, it's pretty great. But I made him listen to Samurai Cop rock and action theme. And the part where Kevin just like belts out, it's like Samurai Cop. Like, I can't do it. I can't sing like Kevin can. But just like he, like whenever he hits that, my brother's eyes just like dang. It'd be like, he's like man, Kevin Murphy has some pipes. He can really sing.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's just like, that's just really, and also Mutiny of Love, the making it where Kevin filmed himself singing all the harmony parts.
Oh, I love that video.
In that video for Drip Tracks. That's amazing.
I
mean, Rifftones is just like, and I'm glad that they're finally doing more of it, even if it is only in conjunction with the live shows, which is good because that keeps it very special. The Rifftones, like a special thing. We're getting new content from the Rifftones, but it's attached to a special event, which is great.
Yes.
And I'm glad we're getting more of that. And I'm just really glad that He's a Star Raider is more of the same in the best way.
Yeah, and if you backed the Kickstarter at the appropriate level, and you head to the backer kit or to the Kickstarter page while you're logged into your account, that song should show up in your library.
Yeah, just like if it's if you didn't. This is what I had to do because sometimes Kickstarter rewards you have to kind of like give them a little push.
Yeah, give them a nudge.
Yeah, a little nudge. I mean, not RiffTrax itself, but just kind of like the mechanisms to claim this stuff. What I did is I just went to rifftrax.com/Kickstarter 2019, and I went to that, and everything just automatically, like the pre-order for Star Raiders populated in my library, and so did that song. Yep. So just do that, and if you were at the appropriate level, then it'll just automatically populate in your library if it's not there already.
Yes.
So yes, we're here for tech support too.
Well, and hey, I'll take that one step further. If you have the Roku app and you were a Kickstarter backer and you pledged enough to get the Octoman live show.
Yeah, I heard people talking about this.
It wasn't showing up in the Roku app at first. But that was a technical thing. Excuse me. According to the internet website wizard Eric from RiffTrax.
Woo, Eric.
Yeah, woo. They had to do some do some behind the scenes things to attach it properly to like a preview video or whatever. And so once they got that set up, now it should show up. So if you haven't been on your Roku app in like a week or whatever since the Octoman live show came out, go there and it should be there now for you. And they already have preemptively fixed that for Star Raiders as well.
Cool. So Star Raiders, hooray!
Yeah, it was a good show, Dave. You're gonna really like it. You're gonna have a great time.
Yeah. So me and everybody on Team Tuesday.
Yeah. So again, that is it'll be today that the podcast is released this Tuesday tonight, the 11th, June 11th. And if you're like me and your local theater for whatever reason screwed up and is not showing the live shows this year.
Happened a lot this time.
Yeah, there was a lot. I'm not really sure what happened there. Obviously, I don't, you will be able to purchase this one as a VOD release, just like the other 2 live shows this year. Star Raiders will be released on August 9th. So like the week before Giant Spider Invasion live show.
Mm-hmm.
One other thing that I want to mention real quick, because I just noticed this, on RiffTrax.com, if you go into your library, you can now set up a watch list of shorts and VODs.
I'm gonna have to play with that. That is pretty cool.
Go check out the new feature of watch lists on RiffTrax.com, and go pre-order Star Raiders if you haven't. If you didn't pledge at a high enough Kickstarter level, and go buy He's a Star Raider, which is outstanding. And if you don't have it already, go buy Legend of Octoman, another song from the Rifftones that is excellent. I think I'm out of things to shill right now. Go buy Flight to Mars from Matthew and Ian. Until next week, I'm Jeremy. You can find me at pbandawesome.com. You can find me on Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube at pbandawesome. Or you can drop me a line, jeremy@pbandawesome.com. Or if you're listening to us through Anchor, or if you go to anchor.fm/trueblueriffcast, you can actually leave us a voice message. You can tell us. Cool. You can go there and you can tell us how much we suck. Because that's probably all the voice messages we'll ever get. You guys are terrible.
You guys suck. Defended that English piece of crap.
Yeah, we might after this one. Who knows?
I'm Dave Chadwick, a.k.a. Sugar Ray Dodge. You can check me out on the web at sugarraydodge.com. Send me emails at sugarraydodge@gmail.com. I am a freelance graphic designer. I also do the Mystery Science Storybook series. I also wrestle locally here in Utah as Charlie B on Facebook. You can search me for Sugar Ray Dodge or Charlie B. I'll pop right up, and you can see all my stuff there.
And he also made the fancy little logo we have for our podcast.
That's right. That's all me.
Till next week, guys. We'll see you later.
See you later.